Vivian Vance was born Vivian Roberta Jones on July 26, 1909, in Cherryvale, Kansas, a small rural town where life moved at a steady, familiar pace. She grew up in a large household as one of 6 children, surrounded by constant motion, conversation, and sibling rivalry. That environment taught her early how to be heard, how to observe people closely, and how to use humor as both connection and defense. When the family later moved to Independence, Kansas, Vivian encountered new possibilities that quietly expanded her sense of the world. At Independence High School, she discovered drama classes, and something clicked immediately. On stage, she felt understood in a way everyday life had never offered her. Acting wasn't about attention for Vivian. It was about identity. While her mother strongly opposed the idea of a career in entertainment, believing it impractical and risky, Vivian felt a deeper pull she couldn't ignore. That early tension between expectation and instinct would define much of her life. Choosing independence over approval. Vivian's determination was not loud or reckless, but deliberate and deeply personal. Her rebellion came in thoughtful choices rather than dramatic gestures. Changing her surname to Vance was one of her first symbolic acts of independence, a quiet declaration that she intended to define herself on her own terms. She worked odd jobs to support her ambitions and rehearsed whenever she could, often imagining a future that felt impossibly distant from her Kansas upbringing. Eventually, she made the courageous decision to leave home and move to Albuquerque, New Mexico, where she could pursue acting seriously. In 1930, she earned her first professional opportunity at the Albuquerque Little Theater. It wasn't glamorous, but it was transformative. Each performance sharpened her skills and reinforced her belief that she belonged on stage. The local theater community quickly recognized her dedication and talent, offering encouragement where doubt had once lived. Their belief in her mattered deeply, especially since it replaced the approval she never fully received at home. For Vivian, momentum came not from fame, but from faith in her craft, Broadway lessons, and a growing reputation. With support from fellow performers who saw her promise, Vivian moved to New York City to study under respected stage professionals. Broadway was demanding, competitive, and physically exhausting, but it gave her discipline and resilience. She began her career in chorus roles, learning timing, movement, and precision through repetition and hard work. These years weren't glamorous, but they were foundational. Slowly, she earned supporting roles, each one sharpening her comedic instincts and emotional range. By the late 1930s, Vivian's persistence paid off when she stepped into more prominent parts, including her role in the musical Hooray for What. Her breakthrough came in 1941 with Let's Face It, where her performance earned praise for its warmth and natural comedic presence. Audiences connected with her because she felt real, approachable, and deeply human. Broadway didn't just give Vivian visibility, it gave her confidence. She learned how to command a stage without overpowering it, a skill that would later make her unforgettable to television audiences everywhere. Hollywood, television, and the role that changed everything. When Vivian relocated to California in the late 1940s, she entered a rapidly evolving entertainment industry. Film roles followed, modest but meaningful, allowing her to explore new formats and characters. Still, it was the stage production, The Voice of the Turtle, that altered her life forever. Producers Desi Arnaz and Jess Oppenheimer saw something special in her performance, an effortless authenticity that couldn't be taught. They believed she was perfect for the role of Ethel Mertz on their upcoming television show, I Love Lucy. Despite concerns that Vivian was younger and more glamorous than the character, Arnaz trusted his instincts. When the show premiered in 1951, it became a cultural phenomenon. Vivian's Ethel was loyal, sharp, expressive, and endlessly relatable. She wasn't just a supporting character, she was the emotional anchor. Week after week, audiences saw themselves in her reactions, frustrations, and humor. That connection cemented her place in television history and introduced her to millions of devoted fans. Fame, friendship, and the cost of being beloved. As I Love Lucy soared in popularity. Vivian found herself caught between appreciation and limitation. Audiences adored Ethel Mertz, but many struggled to separate the character from the woman portraying her. While the recognition was gratifying, it also became restrictive. Vivian wanted to be seen as more than one role, more than the funny friend. Her relationship with Lucille Ball was complex but deeply meaningful. They shared professional triumphs, personal disagreements, and mutual respect that endured for decades. When Lucille invited Vivian to join The Lucy Show, Vivian initially hesitated, wary of being typecast again. She ultimately agreed on one important condition: her character would bear her own name, not Ethel's. It was a small but powerful assertion of identity. Through continued collaborations, Vivian balanced gratitude for her iconic role with a quiet insistence on being recognized as a full, evolving artist, not a single note in television history. Love, loss, and lessons beyond the spotlight. Vivian Vance's personal life was marked by complexity, growth, and emotional endurance. She married 4 times, each relationship reflecting a different stage of her life and self-understanding. Her early marriages struggled under the weight of ambition and demanding schedules, revealing the sacrifices required by her career. Her third marriage, though long-lasting, was emotionally challenging and left lasting impressions on her sense of self. It wasn't until her marriage to John Dodds in 1961 that Vivian found a partnership grounded in calm support rather than pressure. With him, she stepped away from constant industry demands and created a quieter, more balanced life. Their home offered her something rare: peace. Away from studio lights and expectations, Vivian rediscovered herself as a woman rather than a performer. That stability mattered deeply, especially as she navigated health challenges later in life. Love for Vivian was never simple, but it ultimately became a source of comfort rather than conflict. The final interview that revealed the woman behind the laughter. Vivian Vance's final interview remains one of the most moving moments in television history, not because of spectacle, but because of honesty. Speaking softly, she reflected on a life shaped by courage, doubt, and persistence. She admitted she never expected to be remembered, a statement that stunned those listening. For someone so deeply woven into American culture, that vulnerability revealed how rarely performers feel truly seen. She spoke candidly about the emotional cost of being associated with a single role and the loneliness that can exist behind constant laughter. When she spoke of Lucille Ball, her voice carried deep affection and gratitude, acknowledging a bond forged through years of shared work and mutual understanding. Vivian didn't dramatize her struggles or seek sympathy. She simply told the truth. Her words carried the quiet wisdom of someone who had lived fully, imperfectly, and with intention. The room reportedly fell silent, not out of sadness, but reverence. A graceful goodbye and a lasting legacy. In her later years, Vivian faced physical limitations with dignity, choosing privacy and peace over public attention. She stepped away from acting not out of bitterness, but acceptance. When she passed away on August 17, 1979, the industry lost more than a beloved actress. It lost a woman who had quietly reshaped how supporting characters were valued. Vivian Vance showed that humor could carry emotional depth and that vulnerability could coexist with strength. Her legacy isn't confined to reruns or accolades. It lives in the way audiences still feel comforted by her presence decades later. She didn't seek to dominate the spotlight. She illuminated it from the side. In doing so, she made room for authenticity, empathy, and warmth. Vivian once said that if she helped someone feel less alone, then her life had meaning. Judging by the generations still touched by her work, she succeeded far beyond her own expectations.